Welcome to another story on the heroic chronicles of the Bible. This time we will be looking at the life of Gideon in the book of Judges 6:11-16. As the Israelites face the wrath of the Midianites, drowning in the consequences of their own sin, a divine plan is set into motion. In Judges 6:11-16, we find an angel appearing to a humble, unsuspecting man, Gideon. Gideon, a simple figure from the tribe of Manasseh, never expected the monumental task laid before him. He's just threshing wheat in the winepress, hiding from the Midianites, when an angel greets him with these powerful words, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon responds with disbelief and self-doubt. He questions, "Why has all this happened to us?" Looking at his circumstances, Gideon says, "My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family. But God sees beyond our limitations. The Lord assures Gideon, 'I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive.'" This pivotal moment marks the beginning of Gideon's transformative journey from doubt to faith, from an insignificance to significance. Gideon, a humble man from a small clan, is called by God to deliver Israel from the Midianites. Yet, plagued by immense doubt and insecurity about his ability to fulfill such a grand calling, Gideon seeks confirmation from God. He asks for a sign and in his doubt requests a seemingly impossible test, that a fleece of wool left out overnight would gather dew while the ground remains dry. God, understanding Gideon's faltering faith, answers the request. And when Gideon asks for a reversal of the sign the following night, making the fleece dry and the ground wet, God again complies. This dual miracle isn't just about the signs, but it speaks to God's patience and his desire to reassure those he calls. Join us as we explore how God's responses not only affirmed Gideon's call, but also deepened his faith. Throughout this story, we're reminded that doubt is a natural part of the human experience. Even when facing moments of hesitation, it's okay to ask God for help or clarity. Gideon's story teaches us that God doesn't turn away from our doubts. Instead, he meets us in our uncertainty, turning our weaknesses into strengths with his unwavering support. So what doubts are you facing today? And how can Gideon's story encourage you to seek God's guidance in your journey? Imagine gathering a massive army of 32,000 men, ready for battle, only to be told to shrink it down to just 300. That's exactly what happened to Gideon. You might wonder, why would anyone do that? Well, this unique instruction came from God, who had a plan to show that victory would not be won by numbers or human strength, but through divine power. By drastically reducing the size of the army, God ensured that when victory came, it was clear that it was his doing, magnifying his glory. Gideon's journey teaches us about faith and trust. In moments when we feel outnumbered or overwhelmed, this story reminds us that it's not about our might, but about having faith in a higher power. Just like Gideon, sometimes we need to take bold steps and trust that things will work out in ways we can't anticipate. So next time you face a giant challenge, remember Gideon and his 300 brave soldiers. Sometimes less is more, and with the right kind of strength, anything is possible. Following God's unique instruction, Gideon's men surround the Midianite camp under the cover of night. Picture this. He divides his men into 3 companies, strategically positioned around the Midianite camp. At his signal, the sound of trumpets pierces the stillness, jars shatter with a thunderous crash, and the torches burst into fiery life, turning the night sky brilliant. The 3 companies blew the trumpets and smashed the jars. Grasping the torches in their left hands and holding in their right hands the trumpets they were to blow, they shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon!" The Midianites awaken disoriented, hearts pounding in fear. In confusion, they turn on each other in a chaotic frenzy. They had no idea where the attacks were coming from. They ran, crying out as they fled. An incredible victory is won, proving that with faith and a little ingenuity, the impossible becomes possible. Embrace the lesson that God's plans are often unconventional, yet they always work in our favor if we trust him fully. Gideon has just led the Israelites to an unbelievable victory against overwhelming odds. The people are in high spirits, and naturally they think, "Let's make Gideon our king." Gideon surprises everyone. He stands before his people and declares, "I will not rule over you, nor will my son rule over you. The Lord will rule over you." A leader doesn't always say yes to power. Gideon's humility here is crucial. Instead of basking in personal glory, he redirects their praise to God. The message is profound. Ultimate victories belong to God, not just to the people who carry them out. This event teaches us something important about recognition and celebration. In moments of success, big or small, remember to shift the spotlight back to the source of all blessings. It's about highlighting God's presence and grace. Next time you find yourself at the top, remember Gideon. Choose humility. Choose to honor God instead of claiming the crown. Reflect on how you might apply this in your personal life. Gideon, the hero of the moment, has triumphed gloriously. But in a twist of fate, he creates an ephod, a revered religious garment yearning to celebrate the victory. Yet what begins as a tribute subtly weaves into a snare, leading Israel into the depths of idolatry. Can you imagine a hero's legacy tainted by unforeseen consequences? Despite the misstep, Gideon's era wraps up with a remarkable 40-year span of peace. Isn't it intriguing how triumph and tumult coexist in history? This story reminds us that noble leaders can stumble. But here's where it gets heartening. God's grace threads through every chapter of this tale, a steadfast promise amidst human frailty. So what does Gideon's journey tell us today? It's a powerful reminder that while human leadership may waver, the divine blueprint endures. Through Gideon's life, we witness that stumbling doesn't signal the end, but the continuum of grace pivots history. Let us reflect on the lessons from Gideon's life, embodying both incredible faith and astonishing lapses. A man from the weakest clan of Israel, filled with doubts and fears, yet chosen by God. This illustrates a powerful lesson. God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. God's choice of Gideon highlights his sovereignty and ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. As Gideon follows God's direction, miraculous victories unfold. The defeat of the Midianites stands as a testament to the power of faith and obedience. It wasn't about the size of Gideon's army, reduced to merely 300 men. Rather, it was about trust in God's plan. We learn here that numbers and circumstances don't limit God's ability to work wonders. However, Gideon's story also offers warnings after victory. Once the battle is won, he falters, creating an ephod, a monumental mistake that leads Israel astray. It's a reminder to us all that maintaining humility and continuously seeking God is crucial. In essence, Gideon's life is a tapestry of God's grace, mercy, and sovereignty woven with human frailty. Whether in triumph or failure, God remains steadfast. Trust him through every season of your life, for he is faithful in every circumstance. See you next time for another Bible tale. Remain blessed.